Hello and welcome to The Agent is In, episode 36. That means we've been doing this for 3 years. We haven't missed an episode yet. Today, Craig's going to talk to us a little bit about kind of the process of upgrading from community to enterprise and, just, I guess, show off that, things work pretty directly and hopefully you get some, good value after switching. So,
Yeah.
Craig, what are you looking at here?
So this is the our webpage that we have about what the difference is between community and enterprise. You see we've got some bullet list things here. Like Windows support is an enterprise feature. The main thing that I'm curious about and interested in is the reporting, because that's kind of the basis of a lot of the other stuff that you get down below here. So today I'm gonna uh, go through installing community, bootstrapping some clients, um, and kind of looking at some other features that we have in both community and enterprise, and then things that are only in enterprise.
Cool.
So here I've got, we have this cool build, CFEngine build, which has lots of modules, policy things that you can add to a policy. And we have a tool called CFBS, which builds those things. I have a repo up here, which is full of my various different uh, build projects. You can see I have many of them. I use them for, I create projects with lots of policy to do manual testing, to test out certain modules. I have one that I have like for, you see I have different versions that I've set up personal. So like, and like home, different things. I run a hub at home and have policy that's specific to that. Here, I've just got a simple policy that I set up, which just does a few things. As a person who's setting up a community environment, I would be interested in knowing who is bootstrapped, what systems have bootstrapped to my policy server. And that's something that you don't get much of by default. So I set up a couple little things to run our CF support tool, which collects a whole bunch of interesting information. And basically the commands, and that's in core, by the way. We go to core. Is it in miscellaneous? I think. Yeah, CF support. And so it runs a whole bunch of different stuff. A lot of this stuff probably would be pretty interesting things to collect and analyze over your deployment of all your hosts and whatnot. And a lot of those things kind of come for free with enterprise and are part of modules that you might find on build. So I've got a policy here. I also play around with CF secret, which is our way of encrypting secrets to particular hosts based on their host key. So part of the CFEngine world, you've got this CF secret utility, which you can encrypt and decrypt. And then I made a promise that doesn't get kept, just because that's something that's pretty interesting in your policy. Like if something's not working, if there's an error, or if it's not being kept uh, reliably, then you probably need to investigate that and see what's going on, because your system's not being um, managed, and it's not in the state that you want it to be in. So I'll start by um, using toilet to announce what we're doing, upgrading from community to enterprise. Unfortunately, I don't have Figlet installed, so I couldn't use that command. So I'm in my play thing here. I've got some VMs. This is just a little script I wrote to manage Vagrant things. So I've got Ubuntu 20 is going to be my policy server, community policy server. CentOS 7 and Debian 10 are going to be my clients, and Ubuntu 22 will be my enterprise hub, which will replace the community policy server. So I'll go ahead and set this up. I made some scripts. So CF Remote is a utility that we have that does a lot of handy things, not just for CFEngine either. So here I have used CF Remote Save to save basically SSH host information. So if I do CF remote show, I'll see that I have a server, which is my policy server. I have a hub, that's going to be my enterprise hub. And then my clients are these two. All of them are all together. And then I can do stuff like CF remote info-h all, as that's hosts -h. You could do the long version. Hosts, I think maybe. And so it'll say, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to say, okay, which OS architecture is CFEngine installed? No. Okay, great. Yeah, so and you can just like run commands. Oops, not like that. Like this. Okay, so that looks pretty interesting. You can run sudo. Just various things you can do with CF remote. You can also, I know Nick does this a lot. You can, what is it? You can
Oh, this?
download. Yeah,
Yeah.
so you can see like which packages are available. If you just run CF remote, there's one that, yeah, so you can do a bunch of different things. It's quite useful. We use it a bunch for testing and automating things. You can install CFEngine, you can uninstall CFEngine, you can check on packages, you can spawn instances, like we use this to spawn instances in AWS. Yeah, so that's basically what I'm using this for. So I did that. The next part, I was just gonna make sure that I uninstall everybody, which they are already, but this just kind of double checks it. Okay, the next step is to, oops, gotta remember my numbers. I used a basic line number scheme here so I could put stuff in the middle here. I don't know if anybody's familiar with basic.
A high technology strategy.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I'm gonna install community. So first thing I'm gonna do is use CF remote to set the date to be the same on all of them, because later that helps out with reporting. So it makes so that when we get to enterprise, if they're all on the same date, then things kind of look nice. If they're not in the same date, then we can get some warnings and stuff in the mission portal that says, hey, the reporting is outdated because it's older than it should be because the dates are wrong. So this is just, and you see you get a little bit of output from CF remote with prefixes of, where the output comes from, Ubuntu 20. So I'm installing this command here. Here, I'll kind of pause this. So you see CF remote install, and then there's an option to install community. By default, it installs enterprise clients, and then I can use this this at clients, right? So I saved it as the name clients. There's two hosts in there. So then when I do CF remote something with the word clients, it does it to both of them. So that's kind of cool. It makes it easier. It makes it so I don't have to like keep bash variables around and just use that. Okay, so we're successfully bootstrapped. Let's go to one of these hosts. This is the policy server. Fire station policy server. So yeah, it's bootstrapped to itself. CentOS. It's bootstrapped to that .20 address. I installed a little helper CFE, which is a command I feel like we've talked about making. It just kind of does the right thing. So basically just do a policy update and a policy run without locks. So just kind of do everything right now. So I can run that. Part of my setup, I'll show you this. Or actually, I guess I can show it to you over here. Look at all this stuff here. It's part of the setup is installing master files stage. Master files stage. So this is something that's in core and contrib, and it allows you to deploy policy from Git repo. In this case, you can also deploy it from a Git repo, but built with CFBS, that tooling that we have. And so that's what I did. And I have part of the setup is to set these params. So I send this file up. So just Craig Comstock play as CFBS, and then my branch is simple. And those are really the only two things I had to do here because it's just open. I don't have to put a username and password to get there. So that's what you see back here with this master file stage. So it's pulled the policy. So let's look at what happened. Looks like we have this bin false command. Obviously, that's an error. That's just my example of a not kept promise. That's a not kept commands promise. And then there's also the secret. Well, I haven't encrypted the secret file for any hosts yet, so that's not going to work yet. Let's go to this one. This one will be much the same. Yeah, so it says, yeah, false, and its file's not encrypted. And then
But no master file stage there. Not a
correct,
hub.
right. Yeah, so it's not a hub. So the policy server uses master file stage to pull down the policy and places it in its own system. And then the bootstrapped clients will pull it from that system, from the hub, from the policy server. So the policy server is a central location from which to get the policy, right? Yeah, I suppose I could set up every host to pull from Git, but that's not generally how we do it. Okay, so where are we? What have I done? Did I do 30? Yes. Okay, so 40 is play around. Okay, so I kind of did play around, but let's play around a bit more. So I talked about inventory, like getting an idea of what's out there. And I think I have a script for this. So check inventory. So this is gonna look at CFKey-S is shows you all of the kind of incoming and outgoing traffic for hosts on, and this is on the policy server. And so this is essentially an inventory that'll tell you everybody who's bootstrapped. So I've got my policy server, I've got CentOS 7, and I name my things with the IP address that is obvious which OS it is, or relatively obvious. Thankfully, different distributions have slightly different version numbers. So this is CentOS 7, this is Debian 10. And then I set up this kind of simple inventory thing where I run CF support and get that's the support tarball, which has tons of information on it. And then what I do is I have a little script on the hub, the policy server. Sorry, I'm so used to saying hub. This script. And so what this script does is it uses CFKey to get all of the hosts that have bootstrapped the incoming traffic. And then we have another utility called CFNet, which is essentially it's like a command line version of what we use in the agents and whatnot to pull files down from the policy server. So it's like a trusted connection between servers. And so I'm using that from the server to pull from each client and look at the dir of our CFEngine data, which is where I put the support tarball. And then for each of the files inside of that directory for the, and then so this is getting the host key out. And then I go through that directory, I make a directory and I pull all the files, which basically lets me get, so like for CentOS 7, the host key is this MD5, and in community, the host key's hash presents as an MD5. In enterprise, it presents as a SHA. So this 367, down here 367. So this 367 file should be the one for the CentOS 7 host. So I should be able to go to my, what did I say, MD5?
367.
367, thank you. And then maybe I'll just copy that to my root directory and untar it. And then there's this system info text file. And yeah, sure enough, it knows it's the host name CentOS 7. Get some basic information. Here you can see like the cat Etsy OS release.
There's
So that's
something
pretty
about
cool.
this file format that I really like, Craig.
Yeah, is there? What
There
is it? Is it those asterisks as
Yeah.
heading section
Yeah,
headings?
they give me a warm, fuzzy feeling inside.
It feels like your old home org mode in Emacs. Is
Yeah,
that what you're saying?
yeah.
Okay, great. Yeah, cool. Um, oh look, system D did something weird. It put some weird characters in there. Good job.
Mhm.
So basically, this is a kind of a crude inventory system. So, you've got all those files in a central location. You could do some processing on them. You could, do whatever you like, just, and the other kind of cool thing about this little thing I set up is that any files you throw in that var CFEngine data directory in the clients just gets pulled down to the hub. Var CFEngine data is something that we use for enterprise as well, and for host specific data, some stuff. And the reason I used it is because it's got access. So that by default, I can't like use CFNet to pull down Etsy password because that's it's restricted by default everything, and then we open up various locations. Our CFEngine data is one of those locations. Okay, so did I play around enough? I think I did.
Yeah.
So I think the next step is, okay, so the next step is to set up the secrets. Okay. So I'm on the hub and I made this script, very simple script that uses CF secret. It encrypts to some host IPs from standard in. And so this fun stuff here, I've got CF key -s, and then I want to get rid of the headers and footers. And then I want to sort them so unique because you can have incoming and outgoing. So, although I guess that wouldn't actually achieve that goal, but that's fine, whatever, because the first one's incoming. Oh, whoops. Sort -u-k2 would have done the job, but anyway, so then I use paste to put them all together. So let's just run this. Encrypt 42. Why not? That's the secret. Okay, so now this home vagrant secret.dat has that secret in it. My script over here on my laptop grabs that. I have to sign my commits. So that, oh, wow. My
Sign
computer
them
really
twice.
restarted. Well, no, it's like I tried to switch accounts on Zoom,
Oh,
and it like really restarted my computer hard. Okay, so that's that. Do I not have a promise run thing? Okay. Oh, policy run. Okay, so what this did was it pulled that secret file from my server to my workstation, added it to the CFPS Git repo, pushed it up there, and then ran policy on all those. I should get the secret this time around. So this is just running the policy on, yeah. So there we go. Let's just run it one more time. And it should probably be pretty clean now.
yeah. Secret is 42. 42.
Secret is 40, secret is 42, secret is 42.
42.
Yeah, so all three hosts now see the secret, and they're the only ones that can see it because they decrypt it with the private key that's on their server. So this local host pub and priv are the public and private keys for that host key, and CF secret encrypts and decrypts based on those. I can print headers or CFEngine input services CFS simple secret, and we can see that it's encrypted to these three host keys. Okay, great. So that works. What's next? I already played around. Okay, so the next step is installing Enterprise. And what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to install the Enterprise Hub on the Ubuntu 22 host. So when we do like a transition from community to enterprise, we recommend that you basically stand up a new server, Enterprise Hub, and then migrate the hosts, the clients from this policy server to the hub. And when you do that, you want to uninstall on the clients and reinstall enterprise. And the reason you do that is because there's a lot of state in the installation of CFEngine that when you migrate from community to enterprise, it will cause problems. So the host key can be interpreted as either this MD5 or SHA. However, that MD5 or SHA is represented as itself, textually in a lot of the data. So when you migrate, you have to kind of clear that out and restart, which isn't that big of a deal for reporting and different things like that, or even the policy, because we're just going to use the same policy. And so the cool thing here is that the policy just works with community or enterprise. It doesn't really change anything. Okay, so now I've got this. I need to set up the source code control. So I'll go over here, and I didn't self-sign a certificate, so I had to accept a wacky one, and then I have to type in a good password, please. Thank you. Yes. Okay. And I guess maybe I don't get a redirect, so I'll do this again. Okay, so here, and then so I need to choose a Git repo with CFPS project. And then here's the URL for my Git server URL. And the RIF spec is going to be simple. I'll apply that. And then it's going to say there's a class that you need to define, and you can do this stuff here. I can do that, like that. Okay, so then, and now, so I'm going to add this class. Remember, I talked about var CFEngine data. It's like host specific data. So I can go to my hub, host info page, and I can add a class that will cause it to, this will cause master files stage to operate. Okay, and then I'm going to press this go button, the play button, to trigger an agent run to get that into place. Collecting reports. Okay. So that should be good to go. Okay. I think that's all I gotta do. And then when I run policy here, so I'm just running that CFE, which does the update and a policy run. Looks like something's weird. So I'll just go over to the hub. Go to, let's see what's going on. Okay, so it is using master file stage. It's pulled stuff down. It's running that policy that runs CF support to generate that business. There may actually be a bug here. I think there is. Yeah, it's really funny actually. Yeah, yeah. I don't know why it's doing this. For some reason it does this. I hadn't figured out why, and it didn't happen to me all the time. So I was like, maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Okay, so but I just check if there's like one or more files in there, so we should be okay now. There's some kind of loop there. I don't know what it is. So this should go and not run. Oh, it's ran again. Okay, this is good. Good stuff. What's happening, Nick?
Accessed Alistair. That's from your policy.
Okay. Anyway, let's see. What can I do? I will use the most severe hammer that I can use, which is Oops. For all those people that like to use sed, don't worry. You can just use ed. It's easier. Maybe. Maybe not. Okay. So now, hopefully, we can get through this. Yay, I think. Yay, I think we're good. Okay. Okay. So now we're back at a place that's good. Where it's install enterprise. Yeah. So what do we do in install enterprise? We just did stuff. So what's next? Set up VCS. Okay, I did that. And then what's next? Upgrade to clients. Okay, so we have this policy server. It's using the policy from my CFPS build project. I suppose I could enable policy analyzer and take a look at it, but yeah. So, and we're green. Everything's cool. We can look at reports. We can look at inventory reports. And so this is essentially like CFKey-S, but way better. There's like all this stuff that you can add in. Great, look at all this cool stuff. Like a lot of people like to look at disk free. What else? Ports listening, maybe. Some basic stuff that might be interesting. Is your system about to crash? Is somebody, are you too open? Okay, so then upgrading the clients is going to be you uninstall the clients and then you install and bootstrap to this new hub. So let's do that. So uninstalling and now install. And still, we have not re-encrypted the secret. So the secret is still encrypted for those MD5 host keys. And so we'll need to re-encrypt it for the new SHA host keys. And come over here. Get inventory. We're not quite ready. So let's see, what's this? Check inventory. No, that's not the one I wanted. I want oh yeah, so we'll just, so with CFEngine, a lot of times things are by design, take a little bit of time. So a couple agent cycles sometimes. I'm just going to force all the clients to report. And so this is another command that you could use in debugging problems. CF hub. If you're not getting reports, you could try one of these commands, rebase or delta, and it might give you some errors and tell you what's going on. So theoretically, we should have our hosts up here now. We do. So we're all doing pretty good here. That's interesting. What's that? 111?
111.
I don't know what that one is. 5308 is on the hub. That's our CF server D. But 111, I don't know what that is. So that's good to notice. Okay, so what have we not done yet?
Port mapper.
What's that? Oh, port mapper.
Port
okay.
mapper.
Probably some vagrant business of some sort, maybe. Yeah, I don't know.
NFS.
So I've upgraded the clients. I'm gonna update the secret. Okay, so I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna go over here to Ubuntu 22, which is, and I've got that same script over there. Now, when I do CFKey-S, you'll see that we've got SHA keys for CentOS 7 and Debian 10. So I'll just run this. New secret. And then I'll run this, and it pulls the secret from Ubuntu 22, which is my hub, and pushes it up and runs the policy on the hub. And then we might need to run the things one more time.
Is that, oh, The secret's in your repo. Yeah, there it is.
Right. So actually, this one is a little. So if I do cf remote -h clients.cfe, or actually, let's do the hub first. Let's do an agent run on the hub. Make sure that looks okay. The thing I like about using CF remote too is that, oh, see, here we go. The secret is a new secret is that I log all the commands that I run on my workstation. So if I use these commands like this, instead of going remotely and typing in there, then I actually have a record of what I did, which is pretty nice. So if I forget how to do something or forget what I did, oh, that's weird. Oh, that's because I sent it to command clients. There we go. Okay, so Debian 10 has the new secret, and CentOS 7 has the new secret.
Nice.
Yay.
So really the only thing you really need to kind of be aware of switching from community to enterprise would be like if you're using CF secret and then, you know, making sure that that state data is cleared out before you're starting to report to enterprise hubs.
Right.
So what are we
So here
seeing
you
here?
can
Okay, we're seeing your error,
my
your failure.
intentional
Yeah.
error, right? Yeah. So this is kind of nice. Like you can see it in this view, right? And then even on the dashboard, I think we'll have an issue on the dashboard, right? Policy compliance. So here we have entire policy. It's okay.
So 2 hosts that have
Yep. 2
policies
hosts,
not
right?
kept.
Right. And what are those? There's these right here. So CentOS 7 has this not kept, and Buster has this not kept.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Well, thanks for showing that off. Is there anybody who has any questions?
Yeah, we actually have a couple of questions, I think.
okay, great.
So Michael says, I joined late and just caught the tail end of the VAR CFEngine data discussion. He saw some sample scripts. Are those available?
Yeah, actually, they're just I got them up here in this this thing right here. So it's this is open and available to anybody's play CFBS. We can send a link or something like that. But yeah, it's
Make sure to put it in the show notes too.
yeah, we'll put it in the show notes. So yeah, in this simple, and I'll just leave this here, simple. I've got a couple of things like here in this simple directory. I've got the inventory, which uses CFNet. This is kind of the community version of pulling data from each client down to the hub so that you can have a central location. And then what I used to gather the information is essentially CF support, which for some reason I'm having a problem with it going crazy. So yeah, I copy that inventory shell script if I'm a policy server to user bin CF inventory, and if I'm a policy server, I run it. So that pulls down each agent run, pulls down the files. Could probably optimize that in many ways, but this is just a a rough demo. And then like the encrypt demo is just a basic usage of CF secret to encrypt to some hosts. And then in the policy, you can see we have a var and sys for the location of CF secret, and then decrypt, and then output to standard out, and then the file. So yeah,
cool. Awesome.
I also saw that Dana had his hand up earlier. Dana, if you want to, you can unmute yourself and ask your question, or you can type in the chat, whichever you're more comfortable with.
I was just asking. It looked like there's a GUI for your CFEngine hub. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is for the enterprise hub. Has a graphic user interface, a web app, web UI. Yeah, and so you've got like a dashboard, and you can set up new alerts and dashboard widgets and whatnot. You can look at reports for like the inventory was one we were showing. You can see what changes have happened. You can write your own custom reports, file integrity monitoring, compliance. There's a bunch of stuff. Policy analyzer shows you which promises in your policy are kept, not kept, or repaired. So like if we wanted to see repaired, we could choose that, and it looks like, you know, some things have been repaired and you can see what those are. And then we have build, which is the kind of graphical user interface. And I could type my CFES project in here as well. But I would need to give it a write access, because from here you can actually add and remove and edit settings for modules from the build. So like, was it delete files is a module that has input data. So in the mission portal UI here, you would be able to enter, you know, files and why you want to delete them, that kind of thing. So it's a way of creating policy that does things without writing any policy.
Wow. Very cool. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I don't see any other questions. Let me see here. Oh, Q&A. Here we go. So there's another question from Michael. Do you use community or enterprise typically in your home lab systems? I mean, I definitely do. Ever since I ever started running enterprise, it was great, because I mean, you just get so much information back immediately. And after spending years in community, you know, just having all that information like plop back in your face without doing anything.
Yeah, so this is my hub that I run on a Horizon Core Toradex ARM64 development board. And I also added some things in to slurp the DHCP leases from my OpenWRT Wi-Fi router. So you can see like things that don't even run CFEngine are visible here. So basically anything that gets an IP address in my home, I have visibility on here because I wrote some policy to do that. Also, because I have access as a developer, I can build enterprise clients for all kinds of things, like post-market OS on my Pine phone, you know, FreeBSD on an old laptop, NetBSD, Mac OS. Like, you know, I just basically I of course I'm kind of like a Linux person, in so much as CFEngine, like, oh, well, you got a new thing, like you should run Linux on it. Well, you should run CFEngine on it. So that's essentially, you know, what I've got going here.
Yeah, I love running CFEngine on my phone. It's super great. It's really nice to be able to like be sitting anywhere and then like pop up and prototype some policy or something like that. I mean, I enjoy it. And I guess, you know, the other thing to remember is the first 25 are always free.
That's right.
So
yeah.
It's really great for, you know, a home lab. You know, if you've got 25 or less, then you can run enterprise, you know, at home. It's no problem. You can run 325 in your organization at work, but just one instance of 25 in your whole organization. So, you know, it's good for like a dev system or for people's like individual development, whatever.
Right. This is go ahead.
Did you say you're running CFEngine on your phone?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Let me look up.
What I meant was, are you running enterprise or community in your home lab?
I run enterprise. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So my phone is running core. I don't know that this, which way is it? I'm mirror. I don't even know. Can you see that? Is it big enough? Oh, I can zoom. Maybe it's. I got 321. Craig's running it on his watch.
Yeah, yeah. I have I used to use this watch for a phone, and then I realized I needed 5G to connect to people, so I stopped that. But yeah, you know, I'm definitely working on generally making enterprise clients for any platform I can. So
Yeah, and it's
I manage
amazing. I
some.
mean, CFEngine's such a small footprint. You know, you can definitely run it on all these underpowered devices and things like
Like
Yeah.
an iOS device?
So the trick with phones is access, right? So on Android, you know, you could get more access more easily with like rooting, or even just Termux is an application that you can run to get a Linux-like command line, you know, a Unix-like environment you can install into
Yeah.
packages. And you can affect the environment somewhat, but not a lot. In iOS, it would be much less. Like you can run this program called ISH, which runs Alpine Linux in an emulator, essentially. It works essentially great for most things. I can't encrypt or decrypt GPG things on it because it takes like 10 minutes. But there's you can't impact anything, right? So I've used it to manage my own personal environment of just like, I'm here, what commands do I want in the shell? You know, add, you know, ed, tmux, rsync, mut for email, all these things. It works great for that. But yeah, for actual system management and like really having a whole picture of the system, you would have to do some different things. I know that at least one person has integrated CFEngine into the build of Android so that it's part of the root system and it can, you know, investigate and manage all the things. But obviously that's not a default.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you're kind of locked down, so it's not like you could just go manage your whole fleet of Android and iOS devices, just download something and install it. I mean, you could with Android if you're the device manufacturer. We can definitely work with you to make that happen. But you know, access on mobile devices that are restricted. So
You were talking about ISH Shell from the App Store?
ISH, yes.
Cool.
I highly
Thanks.
recommend it. It's really awesome. Like when I have to
Thank
use
you
an
very much.
iPhone, I mean, it saves me. It saves me because like for me, like I don't like to tap and swipe on things. Like so on my phone, I do most everything from the command line. I even send and receive text messages and call people, and I don't add any context to the Android stuff. Like anyway, did we stop the recording yet?
no, we're still going. What is this?
Yeah,
yeah.
we're still going. So yeah, I
Oh,
made a little
okay.
QR code here, so that way it's a little bit
Cool.
easier for people who are watching versus typing in a link. But probably a good segue to talk about the CFEngine Enterprise basic training that we're going to be doing on May 15th. So it's going to be a 4-hour webinar session with Nick here. We're going to cover some of the CFEngine basics, components, the architecture, but it is going to be more enterprise focused, or an emphasis on enterprise. So if you're running enterprise or looking to run enterprise in the future, be a good opportunity to get some free training.
Cool.
We'll put this in the show notes as well. That way you can access it at a later time. We'll also put it in the newsletter. So if you're not subscribed to the CFEngine newsletter yet, you can go to the website, scroll all the way down to the bottom, and put your lovely email address in there. So yeah, that's my shameless plug.
That was wonderful.
Let's see. Is there any other questions? I don't see any more questions. I don't see any hands raised. I think that is gonna do it for episode 36. So 3 years in the books. Remember, hang around after the recording ends if you still want to chit chat, but don't want it on the record. We'll see you next time.